What is going on, apes? My name is Tyler. Welcome back to the channel. We now have 100% definitive proof that there is hundreds of millions, at the very least, synthetic shares of AMC stock circulating out on the marketplace. Now, we're going to be going over exactly what is going on with this situation. I'm sure you guys have heard about it. If you have not, definitely stay tuned for this video. So let's not waste any time getting into it. Drop that like on the video. Consider subscribing to the channel. All of that good stuff. Let's get straight into it. So this tweet and really all of this due diligence comes from Jimmy P for AMC on Twitter. So check this out for yourselves. All the credit does go to him. But this tweet does say, I have 2 recorded phone calls from Citibank department heads that deals with DRs, depository receipts, and custodial services. Confirms that by law, rules, and regulations that 3.08 billion AMC Brazilian shares BDRs at 6-to-1 conversion ratio equals 510 million AMC shares being held by them right now. So let's first get into who he was on the phone with. Now, this is Christian Glenn, Vice President, Citi Head of Depository Receipts Operations. So directly the guy you need to be talking about when it does come down to these BDRs. Also, Michael Moore, Director at Citibank. So 2 very important people at Citibank. Now, why is this important? Citibank, let's just go to this picture. Citibank has 23.7 trillion in assets under custody and administration and global custody network spanning more than 100 markets worldwide. Citi is one of the largest custodians in the world. So they basically specialize in these DRs and not these BDRs. That is a different regulatory agency, but with these DRs around the world. Now, what are DRs? Depository receipts. A depository receipt is a negotiable certificate issued by a bank representing shares in a foreign company traded on a local stock exchange. The depository receipt gives investors the opportunity to hold shares in the equity of foreign countries and gives them an alternative to trading on an international market. A depository receipt, which was originally a physical certificate, allows investors to hold shares in the equity of other countries. One of the most common types of DRs is the American Depository Receipt, ADR, which has been offering companies, investors, and traders global investment opportunities since the 1920s. Now, this is not necessarily what is important. That is just overall what a depository receipt is. And you guys can really think about this in the way of just a certificate, right? So you're getting this certificate. You don't actually have the shares, but they control shares, kind of like a derivative, right? So that is essentially what a DR is, depository receipt. Now, what is the BDR? Now, the BDR is the Brazilian basically version of this, right? Not the ADR like the American version. The BDR is the Brazilian version, but they can or might not be able to convert these into actual AMC shares. Now, let's get into this. Overview. The Brazilian stock market has witnessed a sharp rise in new offerings since 2019. Despite the impacts of the COVID-19 crisis in Brazil, there were more equity IPOs in 2020, 25 of them in the previous 6 years combined. Market attention has also turned to opportunities in Brazilian depository receipts. BDRs are negotiable certificates that represent securities issued by foreign companies. Similar to American ADRs, BDRs allow Brazilian investors to invest in foreign companies and provide those companies with direct access to the Brazilian capital markets. In summary, BDR programs may be either sponsored or unsponsored. That is what is very important. Sponsored or unsponsored. Sponsored BDRs have 3 different levels with increasing disclosure and issuer registration requirements. Only level 3 sponsored BDRs may be publicly offered to the general market. So only the best of the best is offered to the general market. Now pay attention to this next paragraph. To date, Brazilian Securities Commission, the CVM, has registered over 750 BDR programs, 619 of those since 2019. Only 8 of which, however, were level 3 sponsored programs with public offerings of BDRs. Now, you guys may be asking yourself, what is the difference between unsponsored BDRs and sponsored BDRs? Because as we do know, only 8 of Brazilian BDRs have actually been sponsored BDRs. So Unsponsored BDRs are issued by depository institutions without the participation of the foreign companies that issued the backing securities, being classified only as level 1 sponsored BDRs. This is essentially synthetic shares. At its core, this is really synthetic shares. They are unsponsored BDRs. They are very risky. Now, these trade on over-the-counter markets rather than the actual lit exchanges. So these are really for the big guys. This due diligence piece as well from franknez.com just posted a couple days ago really breaks this down in a clear way as well. So I do want to go over this with you guys. So it says the depository receipts are represented by a bank account or institution. In this case, Citibank, in which they have converted AMC shares into these so-called BDRs, foreign stock. It is up to the issuer's, Citibank's client, whether they choose to convert the BDRs into actual New York Stock Exchange shares or not. In quotes, there are plenty of issuers that operate with closed books, according to Fidelity's International Trading. This particular BDR is not a sponsored ADR. An ADR is an American depository receipt that is negotiable, meaning AMC Entertainment has absolutely no legal say or obligations to these depository receipts. That is synthetic shares right there. But let's continue on. It says, it doesn't, according to the Fidelity International team, these BDRs are a separate instrument and are not going to track the price of a share trading in the U.S. market. AMC shares outstanding in Brazil are approximately 3.08 billion via Bloomberg. Remember, this is a completely separate entity than the outstanding shares here in the U.S. markets, 500 million. AMC's market cap is 101 billion real Brazil, which has nothing to do with its market cap in the New York Stock Exchange, according to the Fidelity International Trading team. You divide, obviously, this due diligence we have already seen, you divide 3.08 billion shares by 6 to calculate the equivalence of one whole U.S. market share, and you get more than 513 million U.S. shares that have been converted into BDRs. Now, let's continue on. Let's continue on down here. This is where it gets very interesting. Now, with 23.7 trillion in assets under custody and administration and a global custody network spanning more than 100 markets worldwide, Citi is one of the largest custodians in the world. As you can tell, we're going down the rabbit hole on this one now because Citibank provides private banking services to institutions globally. They're not obligated to let Jimmy AMC know who exactly processed these BDRs. It says the DTCC approved these BDRs. I did a little bit of research as to how this process even begins. Well, come to find out that the issuance needs to go through a private custodial bank such as Citi, then processed through the DTCC, and finally going through the custodians program to convert the underlying asset. Continue on. The DTC approved converting more than 513 million AMC shares into 3.08 billion BDRs foreign stock, essentially brushing these synthetic extra shares under the rug from the U.S. markets. I want you to take this in for just 1 second. Ladies and gentlemen, this is financial treason. This information must reach the masses. I urge for community leaders and influencers to speak out on this incredible matter. We have to protect our people. This is very clear what is happening. They are literally taking these synthetic shares, converting them into BDRs, issuing them on the Brazilian market. So we have millions, hundreds of millions of synthetic shares that are circulating out in the marketplace. That is probably why a lot of apes, most apes, continue to buy the dip on AMC and the price does nothing. Now, just acknowledging these phone calls with these two very important people from Citibank, essentially reading between the lines, they did admit that they converted 500 million shares of AMC stock into Brazilian BDRs. So you guys can find these videos for yourselves. I will also link them down below in the description if you do want to check them out and listen to them for yourselves. Now, that is all you guys need to know. Not too much we can do about this. We're going to have to wait to see what the SEC does say. I don't know if they're going to do anything about it as well. They kind of put AMC on the back burner, but you know they are getting tailwinds of this information from the due diligence that we have provided in the community. So big congratulations to everybody that is in AMC pushing out this due diligence to really expose the manipulation and fraud that is going on in the financial markets. Also, I love and appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you for the support on this channel. Check out the multiple links down below in the description. You get totally free stock with 2 of those links. So that is by definition free money. Check that out. There's also a link for the buy and sell alerts. in just the past week or so, with only a couple $100 worth of initial capital on some of these trades that we have been making, you would have made enough in pure profits to cover that cost for the buy and sell alerts for over 1 year. So it is very inexpensive and it pays for itself. I really want it to be available to as many people as possible. That is why we do keep the cost down. But that is all I do have for this video. I will see you guys in the next one.